I'll get to talking with a lot of these hunters, and they're interested in trying it. So I'll bring some over. They'll try it, and 9 times out of 10, they want to bring a bundle of Wagyu back home with them. So
who doesn't? Yeah, it's Wagyu.
Good, yes.
Welcome to the LandTrust Podcast, where land, technology, and the outdoors come together. This episode is part of our Seasoned Host series, where we highlight landowners who've hosted many memorable guests and experiences through LandTrust.
Today, we're heading to Eagleville, Missouri to visit Graham Farms, a Missouri-registered century farm that's been in the Graham family since 1886. I'm your host, Nick DeCastro, and I'm the founder of LandTrust. Joining us will be Matt Graham, a landowner who, alongside his family, has carried on their deep-rooted legacy of livestock farming. They raise Wagyu, Angus, and Shorthorn cattle with a focus on high-quality, trusted food production. On this episode, we'll hear how opening up Graham Farms through LandTrust has impacted Matt and his family, and why they continue to welcome others to experience their little slice of Missouri heritage and paradise. Welcome to the podcast, Matt. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. Good to be here.
We can start with telling us a little bit about the history of your place, Graham Farms, and what it means to your family to be a Missouri Century Farm, and maybe explain what that means.
Yeah, Missouri Century Farm means the farm's been in the family for over 100 years. So in our case, it's well over 100 years. Like you mentioned, it's been in the family since 1886, which is a really, really cool thing for me because I'm the beneficiary of this for prior generations of blood, sweat, and tears to kind of get here. And so it's important to me to be able to continue to provide that legacy to my children, and to also in the process of this involvement with LandTrust, let others come in and kind of see how beautiful it is here in north central Missouri, and enjoy what sometimes we take for granted.
Yeah, that's awesome. Why don't you give us like a super quick understanding of what your place is actually like, acreage, what you have on it, what kind of crop or livestock you do?
Yep, we have a small row crop operation, only about 100 acres of row crop, where we rotate corn and soybeans on largely just creek bottom ground. And then most of our effort is really involved in cattle production, Angus, Wagyu, Shorthorn cross cattle, which we feed out a few, we sell a few, and some of the stuff we feed out we provide to folks across the U.S. So sell a little bit of direct business. But we run about 125 to 150 cows, depending on the year, between my dad and myself, over about 700 acres of ground here in north central Missouri.
And you have some timber, ponds, it's
Yep.
rolling hills.
Yep. It's a mixture of timber and pasture and grass that we'll put up for hay and stuff. But yeah, we've got 9 ponds altogether across all the acreages. And I lease a little bit of ground from a neighbor that we also include, that's got a couple nice ponds on it as well. I've got 2 boys that are 16 and 18. We've stocked it over the years, so got some pretty good size bluegill and bass in there now.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so I appreciate the overview on your place. So you've hosted, I don't know, quite a few trips over the last few years. I think you've been with us for 2 or 3 years at this point. But let's talk about spring turkey, because I think it's kind of one of the major ones for you. I obviously had a chance to hunt your property and got my first turkey that was 2 spring turkeys ago, I think. And I came out with Colton and John Dudley, and we had a blast. So I guess, what's it like for you as a landowner to be part of some of these milestones for guests like me?
Oh, it was a great experience. I grew up hunting turkeys when I was a kid, so I've got memories back as far as I can remember. I took my oldest boy out when he was 4, and we shot one. So he's got memories as well. So it's really fun to be able to share that kind of stuff that folks are going to remember forever here on the farm. And since we're pretty familiar with where the birds are, kind of how they move, I feel we've kind of got a leg up there and make it a little easier for folks that are coming in and don't kind of know the topography and layout and generally where the animals are and kind of how they move across the property.
When did you first decide to list with LandTrust, and kind of what was your thinking behind trying it? Because it is a new thing.
Yeah. I had a buddy of mine that was familiar with you guys and encouraged me to do it. It seemed like a pretty logical thing to do. I kind of tell people it's sort of like an Airbnb for hunters, really. It's kind of the easiest way to explain it to people that aren't familiar with it. It's a way to get out and for customers, I guess, to experience all kinds of different aspects in hunting. We've had a number of people come through here that have been involved with LandTrust and have hunted all over the United States. So it's fun to hear their stories and their experiences. And for me, it's a way for us to share this property with others and let them see the benefit of how this can come together and work for everybody.
Yeah. So speaking about turkey hunters, kind of what's the setup for turkey hunters or guests who come out and they book something with you guys? What does that look like? Are there any tips or details to help people get most out of their visit?
Yeah, what we introduced just last year, we built a little cabin, which should help out folks with lodging. There's not a lot of lodging here we're kind of in the middle of nowhere. So if folks want to come in, we feel like that's an added value to the property. They can come in, they can stay in the cabin, get there whenever time. I'll usually meet with them, kind of talk to them about what they're looking to do, guide them a little bit, kind of let them know where birds are roosting, generally kind of where they come out during the day, and kind of help them there. Obviously, most of the time we're getting pretty good hunters that I don't have to give too many tips to, but just point them in the right direction helps quite a bit. So that's kind of how we operate things here.
Yeah, and we were just before hopping on and recording, you're saying you're seeing quite a few birds right now, so it should be a good season for you guys.
Absolutely, yeah. It was a pretty mild winter, so seeing a lot of birds around, flocks in the neighborhood of 30, 40 at a time, especially down on the creek bottom. Yeah.
By the way, hot tip here, what we didn't realize, because you're a mile from Iowa, so you're really close to the border. And I had come from Montana, and John had come from Iowa. What we didn't realize with your guys' spring turkey season is you can only hunt till what? Is it noon?
Yeah, it used to be. I think they've changed that recently, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't a bad deal because with all the ponds, you hunt in the morning and then you go fish and catch bass and hang out. It was a great time. So bring a fishing pole if you do plan on booking something out there with Matt, because honestly, that was half the fun of the trip for us. So you talked about your cabin, and you didn't have it the first couple of years, but I think that's an interesting thing to talk about to other prospective landowners is LandTrust is an income opportunity that we hope is flexible. You retain all the control, kind of unlike traditional annual leases or multi-year leases. You do it how you want, and you offer what you want, and hopefully that gives you flexibility. But also after a couple of years, and you see I can make some considerable revenue from this. I'd love to hear that thought process there, if that's on track or not.
I think you're right on the money. That was one of the struggles that we'd kind of heard from folks that were coming in. It's just where to stay. It was the question I always got, where should I stay? And I'm giving them tips, and it's a ways off. Typically, not like it's a long ways, but 20 minutes this way, 30 minutes that way. So it just kind of made sense for me. Actually, me and the boys just built that cabin. So we spent kind of a summer doing it, and it works out good for all the hunters that come in and all the, sometimes we'll have family members come in too. So it's a win-win for us kind of across the board.
Well, and obviously you're in agriculture, and I got to experience some of your beef. It was amazing. So, I think you brought us milk and eggs and some of that stuff, but has hosting, and we've heard this from other landowners too, has hosting exposed some more of your direct to consumer stuff? Because I think you're doing some direct to consumer with your beef program, right?
It has, absolutely, yeah. It's something that a lot of folks are interested. I'll get to talking with a lot of these hunters, and they're interested in trying it. So I'll bring some over, they'll try it, and 9 times out of 10, they want to bring a bundle of Wagyu back home with them. So
who doesn't? Yeah, it's Wagyu. We really enjoyed it. So that was amazing. Beyond kind of the experience that we've had, are there any other kind of standouts for you? I know that we do see a lot of like father-daughters or, kids coming out for the first time, or, any other like kind of standout experience you've gotten to host?
I'd say what surprised me the most probably is the number of folks that'll come out and just fish, all summer long. I'll have people reaching out, and they'll come out, and, a lot of father sons or a couple guys, just want to get out of the city and come out, and they'll fish all day long. And surprising how often they come back too. I've had multiple guys come back, a few times a year or every year. That's fun to see.
For any other landowners out there who might be on the fence about, LandTrust, this concept, opening up to people in this way, what would you have to say to those folks?
Makes a lot of sense because you guys kind of make it easy for us. I think I like the insurance aspect that you guys bring to the table. I think that's one thing that historically a lot of farmers have concerns about when they either allow people to come on and hunt or charge them to hunt is what happens if, something unexpected happens, which can happen, and no one wants to risk the farm over that. So you guys bring some comfort in regards to insurance and structure and planning that makes the experience so much easier and palatable for folks like myself.
That's awesome. Has hosting through LandTrust and having guests out, has there been anything new or unexpected for your family or for the farm or for the operations?
You guys are helping us capture pictures, so that's been kind of fun too. So just seeing what's out there, has been pretty beneficial. I mean, I like I mentioned earlier, I kind of know what's out there from hunting on it, my better part of my earlier life, but seeing what's out there and a lot of the cameras that you guys have out and then sharing that, posting those kind of things is kind of fun to see. For sure.
What's next for Graham Farms? Like, what's your legacy? What's your goals?
Just to add to this and enjoy it, share it with those that I can, leave the whole place on to my boys and hopefully future generations from here.
That's the goal. The legacy there is so hopefully, and the boys are excited to be
Absolutely.
the next generation.
Yep.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your day to join us and talk to us and share kind of your experiences. Again, you've been with us for a few years now, and I think it's really important for not only our guests to hear that, hey, these are real landowners, and hear more directly from the horse's mouth, so to speak, but also for other landowners out there to see, what the opportunity is and just kind of that consideration there. So thank you, and I'm hoping to get back out there in the near future.
All right, right on. Look forward to seeing you. Thanks, Nick.
Hey, if you're interested in Graham Farms for your next turkey hunt or fishing trip, just head to LandTrust.com and search for Graham Farms. You'll find his listing, experiences he's offering, and guest reviews. We've also dropped some direct links to his listing in the show notes for easy access. A big thanks to Matt Graham for joining us today and sharing the story of Graham Farms and some of his past trips that he's hosted. By the way, if you're a landowner and you're thinking about hosting outdoor rec and generating some income from your land on your terms, visit landtrust.com/landowners. There, you'll be able to find more information about what it's like to be a host on LandTrust, and you can even watch videos of other landowners who've hosted with us for years. You can also call or text us at 406-709-8450, and you'll get connected with one of our trusted team members. Hey, if you enjoyed this episode, do us a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast, and leave us a rating and review. It really helps us grow the show and keeps bringing guests like Matt back on. All right, folks, that's a wrap. Thanks for listening, and don't forget, if you're looking for your next great outdoor experiences, you know where to find it, landtrust.com. See you next time.